Okay, folks, comes the Band-Aid off of the webcam for my first real video, which I'm going to label the silent Intifada, because they have not named it yet as the third Intifada, because I guess it is just ramping up. Okay, so let's discuss this Intifada, and I apologize because a lot of people that are close to me really don't like this word Intifada. It's got a negative connotation. So with that being said, the first Intifada, which is how I'm going to describe it, please excuse me, started in December of 1987. Now, I was still in college at that point, and it ended in September of 1993. I had moved to Florida after Hurricane Andrew about a year earlier in September of '92. I really wasn't, so aware of what the goings on in Israel. But when you look at it with hindsight, and this being a perspective, so that was 6 years, December of 1987 to September of 1993. Now, Jews that won a war against literally every surrounding Arab nation, and even the ones close to us, we won a war in 6 days back when I was an infant in 1967. We now cannot win a war against rock-throwing children in 6 years. So, we could win the war. We should have won the war in a day. But there was a reason for this. The reason is because the powers that be, the globalists, that are in control, and we have them, of course, in Israel, and I'll go into detail a little bit more in other videos, but we have basically power brokers, running a majority of this world, and their little pawns or princes are put in power here in Israel. It started in 1948. And due to circumstances, like I said, I can get into in later videos, lands were needed to be given back to this misplaced Arab population, the ones in Judea and Samaria being from Jordan, and then the ones close to Egypt in Gaza, misplaced Egyptians. So, due to what was going to become, and as we see now, this global caliphate being formed, because this is a necessary situation for the people that want to take absolute control of the planet. The Muslim caliphate is a good tool for this agenda. So here in our country, in Israel, they need to, of course, promote this agenda as they're doing worldwide, and part of promoting that agenda is to deem certain lands Judenrein, which Judenrein means, without Jews. So the 6-year Intifada went on from 87 to 93, and what happened in 93, folks? If you don't remember, the first signing of the Oslo Accords. Now, the Oslo Accords were signed in Norway in August of 1993, and then in September, boom, after 6 years of this, jihad locally here in Israel, it magically stopped. Now, of course, after 1993, it was impossible to give land to this misplaced population, as they, ultimately think the entire state of Israel is occupied. It's not just areas like Shechem and Hebron, where we actually, Jews, have deeds to these areas, and again, for another video, I will go over that information. But they even think Tel Aviv, is a settlement. So with that being said, there was really no one to deal with, no one to really negotiate with or give the land to. And because of that, another Intifada broke out in 2000, because, of course, the pressure is on, and these people don't recognize Israel in any way, shape, or form. So that intifada went on for 5 years, and that was one where buses were blowing up and all sorts of really negative things. And we actually had to build a wall. I'll try to also do a video, showing the wall, and this is the only way to stay safe. When you have a rabid population, really the only way to stay safe from this population is to disconnect yourself. And we do that by several means. A 30-foot high concrete wall is most effective in doing that to a degree. So there you have another 5-year intifada from 2000. It went from September of 2000 to February of 2005. And then in the 2005 year, yet another capitulation, this time we call it Aza. We gave away this huge community there called Gush Katif. Now, Gush Katif was responsible at that point for 15% of the agricultural production of the country. Their main agriculture was flowers, which went into the European Union. They made a lot of different flowers in greenhouses, and also bug-free vegetables, which as Jews, we have to be very careful about bugs. They're not kosher. There's very few insects that are kosher, mainly like locusts, but again, for another video. So we're not allowed to eat bugs. Bug-free vegetables are a premium price, and of course, they were producing these. Now that settlement, the value of the entire settlement was worth about $200 billion at that point when it was dismantled. So it's tremendous value of this area, including not only the agriculture and the industry, but also the land, that it was sitting there and it was under. And this was given away by Ariel Sharon. So it was really sad. I mean, maybe he thought, to a tiny degree, I'm thinking that, maybe because of his military expertise and skill, maybe he had thought that he would give away the land almost as almost a trap to set up for these misplaced Egyptians in that area. And then when they started the violence, maybe he was going to go back, and his plan was to go back and take it over and maybe take over the whole entire strip again, or at least put it under military control again. But he, of course, had a stroke in 2006 in January, and then Ehud Olmert, who was going to be going to jail for corruption, took over. So those were the two intifadas that are in. You can research them in Wikipedia. That's where I came up with those dates. And the new intifada started in September of 2015. So we just have to ask ourselves, first of all, is this going to go on to 2020, 2021? Is it going to escalate? And is this ultimately the start of the potential, God forbid, of giving away, huge swaths of land, which Ehud Barak, again for another video, had capitulated to give away almost the entire Judea and Samaria, except for large settlement blocks like Ariel up near where I live, and in the south, the Gush area. And that's not Gush Katif, that's Gush Etzion, which is south of Jerusalem. So, we have to look into this. This is a problem reaction solution, the Hegelian dialectic. This is one of the really, strong playing cards, one of the ace in the hole playing cards of this globalist power structure, where they create a problem. Behind the scenes they create it, or they do things to create the problem, like, let the Arabs run amok, and then it's, of course, going to create a problem. And then people will come screaming to them, help us, help us, help us, make us safe, do what you can. So it's reaction. That's the second phase. The public reacts and, begs for mercy, begs for help. And then they come in like white knights on their horse with the solution. And the solution is really, the agenda they had when they started the problem. They had thought of the solution as they were creating the problem, and it's really easy once the masses are begging for help and begging for the solution, that the solution is implemented and it's their solution to forward their program.